Do you wake up every single morning with the thought and the knowledge, a true belief that affects your whole life, your demeanor, everything, that I am unstoppable, I cannot be conquered? Do you wake up every single morning with that reality in your brain? I don't. So I don't want to assume everybody is as weak as me. Maybe you are stronger than me, and maybe you do. I've had times where I've said something before, and then people say, I actually do that every day. Wow, that's impressive. That's really impressive. Some days, or a moment in a day, 24 hours, I might have 5 seconds where I feel like that. Oh, yeah. It lasts about that long. And I'm wiped out. That expended so much energy, I got to take a nap. It just feels like that sometimes. We have this reality. But is that the reality that we live in every single day? It's true that we are unconquerable. Nothing can take us down because Jesus lives in us. That is reality. That is true. So no matter what you're facing today, as bad as it may seem, you can look it in the eye and go, you will not take me down because I am a child of God. And this is not going to beat me. That's what Paul is praying for. He's praying for real life because life brings challenges. Life has tough circumstances. And so he prays for 3 very specific things. The first one is endurance. Now, if someone has a paper Bible or a different version on their app, they're not looking at the notes, they're looking at a different version. Maybe they just pulled up a version. It could be NIV, King James, American Standard, Revised Standard, whatever. It doesn't matter. Is there any other version that doesn't have the word endurance, but it starts with something else? Anybody have a different version? Perseverance. Perseverance, endurance, good translations. Okay? That's what it means. Okay, patience. You have patience first. All right. So patience was often the way this was translated for the first word. The first word really isn't patience. It's a word that means endurance or perseverance. So we think of patience almost as just wait, right? Wait, just wait. Be patient, wait. But this is endurance, and it carries the weight of don't quit. You got to finish this till the end. Don't quit. You can endure this. So endurance is a little different to me than the idea of patience. And so I want to go ahead and pull that up. But perseverance is the thought of it, to endure something. But it isn't just, when we hear the word endure, don't we kind of think, we just have to put up with it? What did you say? Passive? Okay, but this is very active, actually. Enduring is very active because it is not quitting. It is fighting through and maintaining our identity and the belief of who we are in Christ. And so, in a sense, all of this isn't going to matter. So the word endurance, basically, it means perseverance. And he's specifically praying that we would never be tempted to give up, that the church would never be tempted to give up. He's just prayed that they would live in a manner worthy of the Lord, bearing fruit in every good work. Let me just ask this question. Sometimes, is doing the right thing hard? And are we tempted to give up and let's just do the easy way out? I think a lot of times that's the way we feel. What Paul is praying here is this is a prayer for every single day. This is a prayer for real life. When we're praying for the name that you have on your little slip of paper, and when you're praying that they would be filled with strength, every day, pray that when they wake up, they will have strength to continue to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord and to please him in the way that they live and to bear fruit in every good work, because that gets tiring sometimes. Sometimes we feel defeated. Sometimes we feel like it isn't worth it. Sometimes we feel like we don't see any results. Why bother? Why bother? Paul says, bother. But here's the beautiful part. Don't be bothered. Okay? Because that first word means endurance or perseverance. But then we have the next word. The next word is often translated patience, with all endurance, patience, and joy. Taylor's translation, I think, lacked on the first word, but it nailed the second word. Because the second word isn't really patience. Patience, again, isn't just waiting and bearing with something. This word means long suffering or long tempered. First, he's praying that we would endure, that we wouldn't quit. But then he tells us how to endure. Endure by not being bothered about what's bothering you. It's so easy, right? So let's just quit being bothered by about what's ever bothering us, right? That's what this word means. It means that you're not going to be put out by this. You're not going to be bothered by this. You're just going to be able to sail through this. It could be difficult. It could be a struggle, but you know who you are. And you know who is holding on to you. And you know that this is temporary. I'm just curious, parents, have your children ever ruined your day because of their attitude? I mean, they just said a word, had an attitude, and man, your day was gone. Like you were in a good mood, and all of a sudden, you were just grumps. Ever happened? I see husbands and wives looking at each other. And children going, not me. Yeah, who, me? Never such a thing. What Paul is saying here is don't let that happen. No problem. Any problem is no problem when Jesus is holding on to us. Yeah, it's still there. It doesn't just automatically always take it away. But he's telling us, Paul is praying that when the Colossian people faced trials and challenges in their lives, that they would not quit. And not only would they not quit, but they would not be put out. They would not be bothered. And so in your little notes here, I have Paul is praying that the church would endure the struggles of life without a struggle. Because so often we struggle with our struggles. And this is really, it's a progression of thought. Number one, don't quit. Number two, don't quit. Don't be bothered by it. Have long suffering. You're in this for the long haul. And you know, I've got this. God will step in and provide a way out or give me the strength to endure it, no matter what it is. So I'm not going to let this get the best of me. Now, it doesn't mean that we won't still have moments where nervousness, anxiety, fear can hit. It means we don't let it take root and take control. Okay, that's what it means. And that's what Paul is praying. So he's praying that they wouldn't quit because they would be filled with the strength that came from God. And not only would they not quit, if that was like, wow, that's hard sometimes, I want to quit. He's saying, not only do I not want you to quit, I don't want you to be bothered by your bothers. And I don't want you to struggle with your struggles. Now we're on the level of impossible, right? And just when we thought it couldn't get any worse. And by the way, I want you to experience joy. Not only you're not going to be bothered with the bothers, you're going to be joyful in the midst of all of it. There is a progression of thought here. Don't quit. Don't be bothered by it. In fact, experience joy. And I think that's beautiful. Now, some people believe joy could actually be a description and a qualifier with the next phrase, which could make sense too. It could be joyfully giving thanks. So in that context, it would read like this. May you be filled with the knowledge of his will. And let me just start at 11. May you be strengthened with all power according to his glorious might for all endurance and long suffering, joyfully giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the saints, in the inheritance of the saints in light. So the joy could go either way. I believe in this progression, the endurance, the long suffering, and in fact, I want you to have joy. And all the while, because this is so important for Paul, we have it in 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, to pray without ceasing, and to give thanks in all circumstances. That giving thanks in all circumstances, as he's praying without ceasing. It's absolutely beautiful, but then experiencing joy as we do that. And so that endurance, long suffering, and joy, how in the world is that possible? That's where we get the little phrase, according to his glorious might. You see, it isn't by our power and our strength. It isn't in us. It's what God gives us and works in us from the inside out. That's what Paul is praying for these people that he has never met and yet that he loves. And that's what I want to encourage us to be praying for each other.